speaking of really good, the teams in the Western Conference are really good too. The 1 and 2 seeds. But people have
Quite literally, the best two teams in the
best two
NBA by
teams in the
record.
NBA. But people even have questions. Obviously, these two teams are the Utah Jazz and the Phoenix Suns. We're going to get into both of them. First, we'll do the second seed Suns. You see behind me, CP3 for MVP. You know what it is. Point guard, my guy. But we have some questions on if the Suns can really do it. If matched up with the Lakers, that's the pivotal question. If the Lakers beat the Warriors tonight in their play-in game, and the Suns get matched up against the Lakers, the defending champions, LeBron James, can they? How do I even put this question? If they get matched up with the Lakers, can they do it? Like, that's the question. Can they do it? Like, realistically,
I think you're going to be sadly disappointed with my answer. I think that they'll give the Lakers a tough series, but they're not beating the Lakers in 7 games. Thank you so unfair.
For letting me down easy with they'll give the Lakers a tough series. That's where
they will.
You know what I mean? Like, thank you. I guess
dude, it is so effed up that they're going to most likely. We're recording this before the Lakers game is played, so who knows what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're likely going to draw the Lakers, and that will be one of the more like bad luck draws probably in the NBA since the Suns didn't get in the playoffs when they won 48 games like in 2014 or something. Right. That's like the last bad beat that happened. Mm-hmm. Terrible.
That is crazy. Well, Matt,
the Warriors have a shot. The Warriors have a shot to beat the Lakers tonight, so it's not set in stone. But what this means, we got to go forward in seeding in the sense that the top seeds should be able to pick their opponent. That would be great for TV. That would be great for they don't believe in us. Like, imagine if like the Jazz could go like after the play-in games, like, okay, we want Golden State, and then the Suns can go, hey, we want Portland. And then it could be all the Lillard could be like, they fucking wanted us. So and that's a great, like, nobody believe in us
I've
thing.
never heard of that before. I've literally never heard that before.
And
it's interesting. I don't know if it's applicable, but it's very like, I don't know. Maybe you could
because
do that.
Someone like Phoenix is just really tough. I understand that they've been like horrible for like 7 years now, but this is like a team where they actually have a real chance to win. And I know it's like, oh, we're young, we have a lot of time. Well, you don't have Chris Paul for a lot of time. Like,
you probably don't have him after this year. This is a one thing.
So this is just like and then they're just gonna get screwed potentially. But about Phoenix,
yeah, give me.
Let's talk about how good they've been. Okay. They've had a lot of good injury luck, but they've also been like really, really good. They started the season 8-8, and then they exploded. Just absolutely off the charts good, and they're the most efficient mid-range shooting team in 20 years.
Mid-range game is
47.4.
Not dead.
They're you could say little playoff experience is a harm. But you could also say they don't know how big it is. Like they're not going to feel the pressure because they don't have a lot of expectations, despite the fact that they're the second best team in the NBA.
That's true.
By record. And they could really it's not a shoo-in that they lose if they play the Lakers in round 1.
I don't think it's a shoo-in if they lose. I just think you have to be, especially if you're Monty Williams. This is not a new coach, young buck, wet behind the ears coach, man. This is a guy, Monty Williams, who's been around the block with Chris Paul. Like he was on a Chris Paul led team or coached a Chris Paul led team that actually legit like was a Western Conference like title contending team. So we know when we've been at the top of the mountain and what it looks like when we have a title winning team. We have a good team and we have a team that's ready to go to battle and do some damage in the playoffs. But I don't know if it's a title team, and especially not if our first round is against LeBron James. Like we're a title winning team if we get to face any of the other, if we get to face the Grizzlies in the first round, or the Spurs in the first round. But LeBron, now for the first time all season, fully healthy, that's where the question lies. Like, are they that?
The question beyond that is, and here's their potential out, is if LeBron isn't fully healthy. If that ankle is like 70%, 60%, and he knows it's time to come back. So he's back in there battling through, but it's not the LeBron that we've always seen fully healthy in the playoffs, ready to go. They have a shot because
I hate that it's reliant on his health. Like that's the only thing thing we can hope for is his health.
This is the 1 seed. Like if they're healthy the full year, this is the 1 seed. This is how bad of luck, most likely. This is how bad of luck that they got with this draw. And even beyond that, like I wouldn't be all woe is me yet. Watch the first couple games because they do have the pieces to match up. Mikal Bridges, he's not a LeBron level player, but on defense, he's someone that you can stick in front of LeBron and make him work a little bit. You have Chris Paul. Like Chris Paul is the ultimate orchestrator in a playoff series where, however they're playing you, he can, if they're going to play you back in the paint, he'll hit you with a little pull up on a pick and roll. If you're going to attack hard, he'll switch onto the big.
I love that playoff basketball is pick and roll heavy because that's why he dominates it.
Exactly. Like they have the tools. But with all that said, I would be shocked to see them in the Western Conference Finals. Fast forward.
But at this point, would you be shocked to see them in the second round? Because they face that's Jake. That's where my mentality goes. Like the Western Conference Finals feels like a win. It feels like we made it. Like we got past LeBron, and then after that, who would potentially we'd have to beat?
Right,
the Portland after that. That's the 4 seed.
Denver, Portland.
Denver to Portland. Like we made it. If we get to the Western Conference Finals, do you see them getting to the second round? Is my question.
If they don't play the Lakers, they'll make the conference finals.
So you have them beating Denver or Portland.
Denver, I would actually, if Denver had Jamal Murray still, I'd pick them to win the West, no matter anything else, because I think they're like that good, and the Lakers have just been mailing it in all season, and that has to come back to bite at you. There's a reason why, other than strike years, the strike year of 99, no team below the 6th seed has ever made the finals. Like, the regular season does matter in some extent. I know LeBron is LeBron, and he's won 27 consecutive playoff series that aren't the NBA Finals. But they have no. I know they won the title last year, but they made a lot of changes. Like Dwight Howard's out, Rondo's out. All the new pieces that they put around.
Yeah, man, you're ready to see it.
They don't have it.
It's a different face. I know. I recognize where this is coming from. You're ready to see it. Sorry, you're ready to see a different face.
They're still defensively the
best team.
The
best. It was announced today or yesterday.
That's what makes it so tough.
Without LeBron but that's what's so scary is that was without LeBron and AD 80% of the year, one or the two of them. They were still the number one defensive team, and then you're bringing 2 defensive player of the year caliber players back.
Scary.
And you want the Suns to deal with that? Come on, man. So the second question is, would this season feel like a win for the Suns, the number 2 seed in the Western Conference, even if they don't make the finals? If they get past LeBron, is the season a win?
I think it's a win already because they've been horrible for a long time.
Prize. Like I guess for everybody else, yeah. For Chris Paul, this can't be a win. This can't be a win. You did this last year. Like, granted, you were the 4 seed, not the 2 seed, but you did this last year. Like this can't.
For Chris Paul, it's not a win.
It's not a win.
For Chris Paul, it's like the most crushing thing of all time.
This is like I'd like cool. I'll go and do my job. I'm hyped for it.
It's not as bad as watching your team miss 27 threes in a row while you have a hamstring.
No, nothing's as bad as that. Nothing's as bad as that. But this doesn't suffice that. This, you know what I mean? This doesn't make up for all of that. Like getting past the first round, I'm supposed to do that. I'm an all-time great.
So like if I was Chris Paul, I'd be just totally distraught if they lose in the first round. If I'm a fan,
that's a stain on the reputation if he does.
I don't think it's a stain, dude. They're playing the defending champions. Like I don't like there's been worse Clipper losses in the past, but
you didn't have to say that. No.
As a fan, I would be like pretty upset, but overall, I think eventually you look back and like see this is a good step. The only people who view this as a win, and the only people who view this as like, yeah, this is, we did our job, this is good, is the front office. They built a great team. They got terrible luck. They think that they're going to be good going forward. Like they're fine with how the season turned out. Those are the only people who view it as a win.
That's a very good point. Jerry Krause is up there, can pat themselves on the back. Not to that's disrespectful to whoever actually the Suns front office, to James Jones, former executive of the year. So don't want to disrespect him by calling him Jerry Krause.